Thousands of Ontario public high school teachers are off the job today for a one-day strike after failing to reach a contract with the province. The Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation confirmed the job action, with hundreds of schools shutting their doors for the day. Harvey Bischoff, who's the president of the federation, said the Ford government did not put forward any constructive proposals through the negotiation process. Last night, Education Minister Stephen Lecce asked the union to remain at the bargaining table, which they are. The teachers are already conducting a work to rule campaign and say they're pushing back against government plans to increase class sizes and introduce mandatory e-learning courses. Teachers will be back in class tomorrow. Forests Ontario has planted over 150,000 trees in the Algoma district. Echo Bay farmer Trent Massey says forests are vital to everyone, from hikers to hunters, and he's pleased that the Government of Canada is supporting tree planting on private land in Ontario. Massey worked with Forests Ontario to plant 5,500 trees on 7 acres of his 30-acre farm. Forests Ontario has announced new support for its 50 million tree program, a large-scale tree planting program that cuts planting costs for property owners. Under the new criteria, property owners with room to plant a minimum of 500 trees can apply. The revised program creates more opportunity for urban and suburban tree planting. Massey said the success rate for his trees is about 85%. Massey, who also grows hay on his farm to feed his horses, said the trees have attracted many more birds to his farm. He's seen more eastern wood peewees, sharp-tailed grouse, and pheasants, along with chickadees, kinglets, and sparrows. Beginning in 2008, Forests Ontario has facilitated the planting of more than 29 million trees. Forests Ontario has planted over 150,000 trees since 2008 in Algoma. In April of 2019, the Government of Ontario cancelled funding for the 50 MTP. In response, public support for tree planting came quickly. The media wrote hundreds of articles about the 50 MTP cancellation, and nearly 100,000 people signed a petition in support of Forests Ontario's tree planting efforts. In June, the Government of Canada committed up to $15 million over 4 years towards the program. NATO leaders appear to be discussing U.S. President Donald Trump during a reception at Buckingham Palace yesterday. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was heard telling leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, that he was late because he takes a 40-minute press conference off the top. Trudeau also said, "You just watched his team's jaws drop to the floor." Trudeau and Trump met earlier yesterday. The U.S. president bantered with reporters for more than 2 hours, sitting casually in a salon of Winfield House. That's the manicured estate of the U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom, where he also met with fellow NATO leaders. The chief of Grassy Narrows First Nation is accusing the Liberals of stalling on a treatment center for residents with mercury poisoning and is calling for a less paternalistic approach from the feds. Chief Rudy Turtle was joined by the Assembly of First Nations National Chief Perry Bellegarde, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, and elders and youth from the community in Ottawa yesterday, all calling on the Liberal government to stop the delays in getting the centre built in the First Nation in Northern Ontario.
Big human right. It's something that we take for granted here in Ottawa. In cities like Ottawa and those across Canada, we take it for granted. But in Grassy Narrows, a community surrounded by beautiful lakes and rivers, the people of that community continue to live with mercury poisoning. The Liberal government has promised to do something, and they are dragging their feet. And I'm here to add my voice to the powerful voices you've already heard from, and to say that I will be an ally. I will use my position in the House to push for this, alongside the incredible voices that you've heard for and the community activists. I'm going to stand in solidarity.
Police say 2 of the 4 teens who escaped a Tennessee juvenile detention center have been captured. The Metro Nashville Police Department tweeted late yesterday that Decorius Wright and Calvin House were apprehended just northeast of Nashville.
Acting on very strong information that one of our juvenile crime task force officers had obtained. We responded to the apartments at Forest Park Drive. We had what we believed to be strong information that Mr. Howes and Mr. Wright were going to be in that area, and that information came to be true once we arrived on scene. We had gang unit detectives saturate that area. They quickly were able to locate both youth in the parking area of that complex. Once gang unit detectives identified themselves as law enforcement officers, both youth attempted to flee on foot. They were quickly apprehended after a brief foot pursuit, though.